Hello YouTube and welcome back to the next episode with me and Dylan. So today we've got motivation versus discipline. Love this topic because a lot of people rely on being motivated all the time, don't they? So in your opinion, Dill, I always start by asking you a question, don't I? What's your opinion, or explain to the viewers, your take on discipline versus motivation? So what's the difference between them both?
So there's a simple quote that my old manager at Total Fitness actually told me when I was younger. Motivation gets you there, discipline keeps you there. I think that's just the best way you can describe it. If you're going to rely on motivation, you might watch one motivational video that gets you up in the morning, you get your 4 a.m. workout in and you absolutely smash it, but then doing it again the day after, you're going to wake up and you're going to think, I cannot be bothered with that today. And unless you've got that motivational video there and the music there, you might do it again, but it's eventually going to run out. The fuel that it gives you will eventually die down, and then you've got to go, do you know what, I'm just going to have to get up and do it. Because all these people that you watch on Instagram, TikTok, the people who achieve unbelievable physiques, unbelievable results, they have to get up on the days they don't want to. Every single person that you see successful has days where they have to do things that they have to do that they don't want to do. It's not that easy.
I always explain it to clients like motivation's like the wind. It blows one way in your direction or at your back to push you forwards one day, or even 1 hour. The next hour is blowing against you.
Yeah.
If you turn a corner or you turn back round, it's blowing against you then. So with it being like the wind, it's going to be changeable on a daily basis, 1,000,000%. So everybody starts motivated. They start on fire. That normally dies out, right? Hopefully, in the time that dies out, you've built some form of discipline. And discipline is just where you just do it anyway. You don't give a fuck about how you feel. You don't care about how anyone else feels. You just care about getting it done because you know that your future self's going to thank you today for what you did today. Yeah? So like a couple of examples could be, you get back from holiday, and you go shopping straight away so you've got your food in. And then you prep it so it's ready for the Monday. Yeah? Someone who isn't disciplined and they rely on motivation will go and sit on the couch and go, I'll do it tomorrow. I can't be arsed. And then tomorrow comes, they go to work, they get up late, they've got no food all day, they're off track. They'll go tonight, eats into the next day. Whereas person A, what I described at the start, these two may be the same body composition, same goals, whatever, but disciplined person is going to more than likely progress through the first 3 days.
100%.
Yeah? Demotivated, or the person who relies on motivation, should I say, isn't.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah, I think even if the person who's motivated on that day where they want to go, do you know what, I'm going to prep all my meals, I'm going to get all my training sessions done, that first day is going to be unbelievable. It's going to be all lovely and amazing. That might be Monday. For most people, when they start on Monday, probably will be. But then Tuesday, it's not going to have that same fuel to the fire because you're going to wake up and you're probably going to be like, oh shit, I've got to do it all again. Whereas the disciplined version, that first Monday, it might not be absolutely perfect, and we mentioned this on another video, they might only be 80% consistent that day, but as long as they keep that up for a long period of time, it's like investing in the stock market. If you put £10 away every single day in a year, at the end of it, you'll have £365. Whereas if you're somebody who just gets a bit of money coming in, then spends it, 3,650. That's my maths for you. You end up going to get to the end of the year and you're going to have spent all the money that you could have saved. So it's the same with anything. It's like if you want to see results, sometimes just doing the things you don't want to do, they might not have to be perfect, but as long as you do them consistently, eventually you'll get the result.
It's investing in your future self every day.
Yeah.
Where you're investing in your future self to feel good in the future, to be in good health in the future, to be in shape in the future, to sustain the shape in the future. It all starts with what you do today.
Yeah.
So in terms of like maybe a personal experience to do with discipline, obviously for those of you viewers who may not know, I competitively bodybuild from time to time. And I've created discipline through years of doing this. In terms of like a personal experience, what made me more disciplined, I would probably say when I was growing up and when I first got into the gym, my older brother got me into the gym. He's about 16 months older than me, my older brother. And I didn't have discipline. I remember I'd finished my GCSEs, I was sat on the couch, monging out all day like you do when you finish your GCSEs, you've got nothing to do. Yeah. And I was waiting for my brother to come home from college. As soon as he'd come home from college, he'd get changed and he'd be like, come on, we're running to the gym. We're doing a gym session, we're running home. Did I want to do that? After sitting there doing nothing all day, did I fuck? Yeah? Did I fuck? Was I motivated? No. Right? But I needed someone to hold me accountable and to create discipline for me to do that. Fast forward 3 years, I was doing that on my own. As you see, I said fast forward 3 years. Yeah, because it might have been 2 years. Because 2 years' time, Connell had left, Connell's my brother, had left college and he got an apprenticeship. So I didn't have anyone to hold me accountable. But because I built up the habit over the 2 year period, it made me disciplined to do it on my own.
Yeah.
So the personal story there is the time frame it took, what you can take away, the time frame it took, and also what had I built up? A habit. So it's all about building sustainable habits for yourself. And it's all about building up, stacking habits together. Yeah. So like, for example, how would that be a habit stack? What I've just explained with my journey is as soon as Connell rocked through the door and he went up and got changed, my habit was, well, we're going to the fucking gym. Yeah. At like, it was probably about 4 o'clock. So then when I started college, straight after the gym, I'd drive home, I'd literally get changed, and I'd actually still run to the gym because I played rugby at the time and I knew it'd increase my fitness, blah, blah, blah. I'm not good for hypertrophy, but at the time I didn't give a fuck. I just kind of wanted to train and whatever. So a good kind of tip, we'll go into this a little bit more in a bit, is to stack habits. Yeah. But you've got to build a solid habit routine, or routine of habits in order to progress.
Yeah, 100%. I think a good example for stacking habits would be, I've said this to so many people before, if you're somebody who's never weighed themselves in the morning before, like, you know you're going to brush your teeth first thing in the morning fasted, so put your scale somewhere where you're going to brush your teeth, and it's just dead easy, because then as soon as you start doing it, it's like, it just becomes routine. And it's just, again, that's with being disciplined. Once you put something into place and you do it on the days you don't want to, it does just become like second nature, and it becomes a habit because you've done it so many times. On the days where you feel good and the days where you feel bad, the days where you've got no motivation, you just turn up and do it all the time. It just becomes the person who you are. And
kind of another form of discipline that I've got today is, like, I'm 3 weeks out from a comp and my goal is so extreme at the moment, which I understand all the viewers, you're not potentially bodybuilders, and that's okay. We don't really coach many of people that do what I do. However, at the moment, my desire to go and train, like I've got legs this afternoon, right? Worst for every bodybuilder's nightmare who's 3 weeks out from a comp. Can I be arsed doing it? No. Not in the slightest, because it's actually going to be later on this evening. Which makes it worse because the gym's full, it's boiling, blah, 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 whatever. But do I just do it anyway? Yes, right? And you might be like, well, that's not relatable in the slightest because you're a bodybuilder and you've built it up over 5 years. True. But what I'll say to you is, all you need to do is start small. I don't expect any of our clients to be as disciplined as I am. Some of them are. Some of them aren't. And that's okay. Yeah, because the ones who aren't as disciplined are building up that level of discipline to how disciplined they want to be. That's important, yeah? How disciplined as a viewer do you want to be? Do you want to be someone who's very regimented? Or do you want to be someone who, like, is maybe regimented a lot of the time, but then has a bit more freedom and is a bit more ad hoc and a bit more improvised at times? I think thinking about that is very important as well. Like, the more extreme the goal, the more regimented you have to be. Yeah. Simple, innit?
100%.
Yeah. But the less extreme the goal, probably the more improvised you can be, if that's like a saying or a term. So yeah, with discipline, or being disciplined, or creating discipline, what other factors do you think come into play?
I'd say managing your own thoughts, managing your emotions. So a lot of people make emotional decisions instead of logical ones, and that's because they let something build up over time and then they end up fallen into kind of a trap of doing the same thing every time something goes bad. So an example I will use is, if I have a stressful week at work, like in the past, probably 2-3 years ago, I'd work all week, I'd get to the weekend and I'd probably go out and drink, and I'd go out with my mates, and then it'd come Monday and I'd be that like fucked off and like down from the drinking that I've done on the weekend, that I go into the week starting off the same again, feeling, oh my God, I'm gonna have a shit week again Monday to Friday. And then what did that end up doing? At the end of the week, I go, oh, I'm gonna go and drink again because I feel shit. And I just end up in this repetitive cycle. But then it was only when I realised that at the end of the week, because I was so riled up and stressed and unhappy, to be honest, that I was going out drinking to make myself like numb to the emotions that I was feeling of not enjoying work. And then it was only when I changed that feeling of feeling stressed and unhappy was I then able to go and think more logically and be like, you know what, I'm not going to go and drink on the weekend. I'm going to go and train. I'm going to go and try and do things that are going to make me feel better, so I can start the week off feeling better. So sometimes it's when you feel like you're going to make a decision that's emotional, it's sitting back and thinking, once I've made this decision, is it going to push me further towards my goal? Is it going to make me feel any better? Or is it going to get rid of the situation that I'm currently in? 9 times out of 10, it won't. And that's when you're going to have to start relying on discipline of being able to go, do you know what? I'm just going to get it done no matter what, because I know I'm going to feel better in a day's time or 2 days' time.
Completely agree. I mean, more emotional regulation is super duper important, because if you're trying to lose body fat, just as an example, that is a psychological battle.
Mm-hmm.
More than a physical battle, it's psychological more than physical. There's actually studies on this to prove this. A chap to look at is Menno Henselman, who explains about this. Really, really clever chap. And basically he's explaining that successful diets come from individuals who are psychologically more in control of their actions, rather than people who act off emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So what would your tips be, or top tip or top 2 tips, or for the viewers, for how to push through low motivational days?
So first things first, you need a goal set, because if you're relying on motivation and you've got nothing to work towards, it's like a Google Maps with no direction. If you've got a direction in place, it's so much easier to go, oh, do you know what, even though I feel down and crap or whatever, I know that I'm doing this in 6 weeks' time, so I've got to get the work done. Like if your boss told you to turn up to your job an hour earlier, or else he's going to sack you, you're probably going to turn up earlier. But then if you tell yourself, oh, I've got to go to the gym, so I've got to get in shape in 8 weeks, your motivation might not be as high, but you're probably going to do it because you know you've got a goal set. Whereas if you're just going, oh, I need to go to the gym today, for what reason? Oh, there is no reason. It's going to be so much easier to just go, oh, I'm just going to go back in bed.
Yep.
So having a goal set is probably my number 1. And then 2 is just being organised. I think it's so insane how so many people now are so much busier than, say, I don't know, 5-10 years ago, but they don't even take responsibility to plan things in. Like, get a diary, just download a calendar, like, have some self-respect for yourself to actually be organised, because then when it's, I don't know, Mrs.'s birthday in a couple of weeks, or family do that's coming up, and you're going, oh, I forgot about it, like, that's your own fault. Just be more organised, and that makes it so much easier to be disciplined then, because you know what's happening. And that's being disciplined, is actually going, all right, I need to plan in what I'm doing this next week so I don't forget anything and I don't mess anything up. Be organised and have a goal set, my 2 main ones. Yeah,
I mean, I can completely agree with both of them. Like, they're my top 2, 1,000,000%. Like, the key one for us that we help clients with is organisation, and picking out where a client isn't organised and helping them optimise that actual part of their life, whether it be the sleep routine, whether it be the meal prepping, whether it be actually structuring in non-negotiables for the week with the training and like meal prep and stuff like that. But it is about finding out where you're not organised. So, like, a lot of people are organised for work purposes, but they're not organised in their own personal life or in the fitness life. And if you align all them 3 up, you will be so much happier, so less stressed, and so much more fucking productive.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? Yeah, because, like, we've worked on this with you, haven't we?
Yeah.
Where we've, in the past, like, Dylan, like, 2 years ago, was definitely nowhere near as organised as he is now. And it was about helping him organise his business life so he can optimise his clients, and then fitting his personal life and organising that around his business, because everyone has to do that. Like, you earn money through working. So that comes first, 1,000,000%. Then second might be family. Yeah? So then you organise your family life around your work. And then third might come fitness. Yeah? We can all agree that probably will do for a lot of people, especially those with children. So then you organise your fitness life around them other two. Yeah? And you find out, how much can I fit in this week? Yeah? What can I get done? Yeah? But ask yourself these questions on a Sunday. Yeah? And then like, well, I can only get 3 training sessions in this week. Brilliant. But they have to go here, here, and here. Brilliant. That's your only time to do them. That makes it even better, because then that's the motivation to go, I've got to fucking get up, or I'm not gonna get it in. Yeah. So, but then you're identifying where in your week you have to go. Yeah. It actually becomes more of a problem when you have more time. Yeah, because when you have more time, people put it off. If you don't have as much time, you actually have a leg up on the people who have more time, in my opinion. Yeah. Because, like, for example, I probably can go to the gym because I work from home, kind of, not whenever I want, but, like, throughout, from midday onwards, I could probably go at any time. But what I do is I get all my work done at first up until, like, 5, 6 o'clock, and then I go to the gym. Yeah? Because that is what works for me, and I know that's a non-negotiable. Non-negotiable is training and fitness. So that's what works. But what I'd advise is finding out, organise and find out where you can fit training, find out where you can fit meal prepping, find out where you can fit your steps in. Organise it around the other 2 areas, business and family. Yeah, family may come first before business, but it doesn't matter which one. You just make sure you're organised in all 3 areas.
Yeah, I think, like you just said there, like, even somebody who might... the only example I can give off that is, like, say, back in university when you had an assignment due in, if you knew you got all day to do it, you would just push it back, and then you'd be... But then, that last hour, you'd be the most productive. So, I've got to do this in an hour. So you'd be like, right, I'm going to smash it in. So if you're somebody who hasn't organised the week before, and like you said, if you are busy, if you give yourself that 1 hour to train and you actually commit to it, it'll probably be an effective session, because you know you've got to get it done in that 1 hour.
I always find the sessions are the best when you can't be fucking arsed. They are, weirdly. Like, not at minute for me, but normally, like, when you're on, like, on a bit more food and stuff, like, the sessions you can't be arsed end up the sessions where you're like, oh my God, I smashed that. So, just to round off, discipline will keep you there, as Dylan said. Motivation will get you going and get you started. The people who rely on motivation are the people who always fail. Simple. The people who become disciplined individuals throughout the journey are the people that sustain success. The people who become disciplined gain consistency, and them two match hand in hand, and consistency's king. If you're consistent, you're going to fucking progress, even if you hit roadblocks. Yeah? Because the more consistent you are, then you can identify the roadblock. We've obviously gone through this in another YouTube video, so you might want to check that one out. But, I think that's all my last line. Have you got anything else to add to that, mate?
Download Google Calendar. Get Google Calendar downloaded.
Yeah, I use the iPhone calendar, but either's fine. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Comment below on any ways that help you stay organised, so we can maybe get some tips from yourselves, or maybe help you along with your journey in the comments. You can find us both on Instagram at Nathan_Transcend and Dylan_Transcend. We're part of Team Transcend, and we'll see you all in the next YouTube.